Hello, greetings, and welcome, everyone. I am the Engineer, and the topics we will discuss today are as follows. I figured it out. Well, probably not, actually, but I can say I did for a little while anyway. Honda releases the Prologue. Aptera surveys. Aptera is preparing to receive parts. And the UAW strike. After much thinking and brain pains, I have discovered why the Aptera has been partnering with so many social media powerhouses. The reason is fairly simple, actually. Essentially, Aptera knew that they needed to get their heads in the game to get ready for production and would not have time to put a lot of effort into making marketing and promotional videos and the like. So what I believe they've done is they've made sure that the media is working in their favor by asking a bunch of social media folks to keep Aptera in the collective consciousness, and hopefully at the same time be able to make sure that more people get access and exposure to the vehicle. Now, this supposition sounded logical in my head, but I could be absolutely wrong. Let me know what you guys think down below, but if that's the case, in my opinion, it's a pretty smart decision. Not that I enjoy the expression, but this is very much like killing two birds with one stone. Honda released the specifications for its new Prologue vehicle. This vehicle was announced some time ago and promised to be a very intriguing SUV. With the specs as they are currently, I must admit I don't see much delineation from any other electric vehicle of its size and class. Besides stats, though, it does appear to be fairly well equipped from a feature standpoint when it comes to Honda. In some ways, it reminds me of an Acura with some of the feature set. Yeah, I have an Acura TLX as well as a Honda Civic, and as you can imagine, the Acura has more features than the Civic. And so with the Honda situation being as it was, I was expecting to see a lesser feature set than what we got with the Prologue. Now, I said all of this stuff, and you may be wondering, why in the world would you include this in an Aptera video? What does this have to do with Aptera? Well, it is a signal that more and more automotive manufacturers have realized that it's time to focus and pay a little more attention to the electric vehicle market. Honestly, when I thought about automakers making electric vehicles after that whole initial Honda push, I thought that they were going to be the last to jump into the fray because of all the statements that they were putting out with respect to electric vehicles. Toyota was another outlier that I thought was going to be one of the last, but they are both making pivots, and that is at least commendable. At any rate, they are losing market share, and they can see At any rate, they are losing market share, and they can see where the industry is headed, which is fantastic for some companies, but it is kind of underscoring the fact that their first vehicles are very large and bulky. They're like, sure, Honda had a little e-vehicle that they sold in Europe, but that particular vehicle is a very short range and pretty much only passable for like city driving and things like that, which, in all fairness, is what it was designed for. But yeah, we're gonna need a little bit more range in the United States for the sake of road trips and the fact that most commutes are just plain longer. I still believe that Aptera has an extremely potent edge over the auto market at large right now, but it is admittedly an advantage that is shrinking month by month. At this point, the longer it takes to get Aptera into the public, the closer everyone is going to get to figuring out that small, efficient vehicles are what consumers both need and will eventually realize they wanted all along. I know it's fairly unfeasible for some car companies to transition to a smaller electric vehicle, and I know that range is going to take a very long time to get to what Aptera is proposing. I'm guessing it's going to be about 5 to 10 years before other auto companies, I guess, kind of catch up. But the fact still remains that more than likely it will be sooner rather than later before somebody comes out with a very small, very efficient, very compelling electric vehicle for like a long range that is, you know, efficient and all that kind of jazz. Their competition is coming not soon, but soon enough that I am a little bit concerned that they need to get moving sooner rather than later. Aptera put out a survey that basically shows the results that I personally knew from the get-go, namely that I'm perfect for Aptera. But as Aptera Owners Club pointed out, this may have also been some kind of market research, so if you guys have a spare moment, I would say go ahead and jump in there and answer the questions to assist Aptera's want to understand who they are marketing to and who would be the best served by their focus. I would also like to say that all the links, as usual, are down below for both this survey and anything else that I've talked about today. Alright, Aptera shared a video last week that it basically showed us that they were putting up scaffolding to receive their production parts. It is so exciting to see the progress made by the factory. I saw those same rafters when I went on my factory tour. I would put a picture of that up. In fact, I may still do that in the corner right up here. It's so clutch to have my hand actually go the direction I'm expecting it to on the video. Throwing that out there for the Apple camera team department. Guys, you need to make that happen because that makes it so much easier. Anyway, little upgrade montages like this make me like excited as the like full-on updates for Aptera. So I will admit that the information for the longer videos is more appealing, but I get just as excited when I see them putting up part racks for their future production parts that they've already shown us exist. So yeah, just loving it. Aptera, whoever is making these little videos, probably Chris McCammon or maybe Audrey, like whoever's making those videos, y'all are doing it up, man. Keep on keeping on, because oh yes. Anyway, yeah, all right, it's time to talk about it, namely the UAW strike. I've been trying to avoid this topic for a while now in order to allow it to come to a fairly harmonious conclusion, but that appears not to be happening. So let's go ahead and jump into this, because I do believe it has implications for Aptera. I have not been shy about saying that there is a very, very real possibility that legacy automakers, for various reasons, are in real danger of falling apart or even disappearing if they don't get with the program. The program being the switch to electric vehicles. To their credit, legacy automakers are to some degree trying some stuff. Yeah, the UAW strike is the second horseman of the apocalypse, so to speak. The first being Legacy Auto's initial response to initial response to Tesla, which was more or less dismissive until they started beating the pants off of them in the metric that they now realize is extremely important, which is EV sales. I cannot think of a single one of the biggest automakers that isn't so weighted down with like bloat and waste that some disruption or issue wouldn't threaten to tank any one of them. If you remember, the CEO of Ford, when the UAW strike started, said that they are in very real danger if they acquiesce to these requests of going out of business. I cannot think of... oh, wow. Okay, that was very poorly timed. I got a notification that popped up literally right over my face, and I got confused, and I started to read it, and then I was like, wait, that's a message. So, from what I understand of the matter, the UAW is staunchly in the camp of, we can get these things, or we can strike forever. Legacy Auto has done everything short of begging on their hands and knees, or actually giving them what they want, to no avail, basically. The play for legacy auto companies involved in the issue, namely GM, Ford, and Stellantis, has gone to hardball sort of tactics. Let's see, GM is furloughing workers. I think the number was about 160 that they've thrown around at some outlets, some news outlets, and instead of meeting those demands, they're basically saying, you know what, we're gonna lay off people because we can't afford y'all no more. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to try and pretend I understand the intricacies or challenges, I guess, of running some of the oldest companies in the United States. But from my layman's perspective, they could basically prevent the issue before it even happened by cutting costs and making their vehicles, I don't know, less part intensive to start, maybe simplifying the production line, questioning every process, that kind of stuff. If that sounds familiar, it is because it is exactly what the book about Elon Musk that came out not too long ago harped on for 99 chapters. If they started turning the big ship like 10 years ago, then they would have had the opportunity to make this not even happen. Like, this could have been avoided because they would have been increasing their profit margins, and then when the UAW said, hey, we would like to negotiate terms, they could have came to the table in a stronger position, like, oh yeah, sure, we can get you a little more money, we can get you in fact, they could have gotten them a lot more money. There's ways that they could have prepared for this, or kept it from happening altogether. And I think the most potent thing would have been to have pivoted to EVs a long time ago and started copying Tesla, basically. Like, I am a proponent of copying success. If I see somebody doing something that is successful, if I hear somebody, making a lot of money, I ask them, hey, how did you do that? How are you making all this money? How are you being successful? How are you so good at fathering or mothering? Or how are you so good at it? Like, I ask questions, and I take that advice to heart because it just makes sense as a person who likes growth and to improve themselves. Yeah, I like doing that. And it seems to me that some of the legacy automakers, not all of them, have decided that they are going to try to innovate on their own and recreate the wheel on their own, figuratively, of course. And it is hard enough being a company trying to maintain what they already have without having to try and redo or retool or remake themselves completely on their own power. I will say that most legacy automakers don't have that power. They don't have that capital. They don't have that money because it is all tied up in debts and what have you. So yeah, it's going to be rough. It is going to be rough. I expect that there will be several car companies of the legacy variety that either are extremely likely to go out of business or extremely likely to ask for a loan from the government, which they technically have already done. Yeah, it's rough out there on these streets. Yeah, that was more a literal than a figurative because cars are on road. Anyway, yeah, so if they had started turning the ship around 10 years ago, then they could have been okay. This UAW thing probably wouldn't have happened. They could have come to the table in a better position, but that's not where we are right now. Because we are in this position, and because the UAW is very willing to draw this out, it seems, yeah, it's going to be rough for these three companies in the legacy auto space, and for all legacy auto companies that decided that they are going to ignore EVs and try to innovate on their own. Yeah, as I mentioned before, there's some exceptions to that rule. One of the exceptions being Toyota. Toyota just showed that they have like a gigacasting body thing happening, so they are literally outright copying Tesla, which is, I will emphasize again, the right thing to do, because Tesla has changed the game when it comes to producing automobiles, and they have made that change with a new technology, the next technology that is electric vehicles. So yeah, man, I guess my best advice to any automaker who is out there trying to figure out what they want to do with life, copy Tesla, bro. Like, you have the template right there. You have it in front of you. Just read the notes, copy the homework. Yeah, just make it, try not to make it too obvious, whatever. They say that in class. I didn't. I was usually the person that everybody was asking to copy the homework of. But yeah, just I hear that copying homework is okay in the business world and in real life when you're grown up and you're running a multi-billion-dollar company. It's okay. Please do it. Anyway, if you are now asking what I believe you may be asking, you're going to say, what does this have to do with Aptera? Why is this a thing? Well, I will explain that now. Aptera is doing a lot of the right things to make sure that they never end up in a situation like Ford and GM and all that kind of jazz. They are essentially moving into the market in a unique way, in a way that is cheap, that is effective, that is safe, that is innovative. And when people realize how amazing Aptera is, or maybe they've already realized and they're just waiting for it to get on the road, that's what I'm going to go with, because I feel like that's the more optimistic approach to that thought process. But anyway, Aptera is doing a lot of the right things. They're setting up a lot of the right processes and what have you to be a successful company. If they wanted to do anything more than what they are doing now, I would say to kind of vertically integrate, but I don't know if it's possible to be right to repair and vertically integrated. So I would say please don't copy that unless you can be right to repair as well as vertically integrated. But yeah, that's the only thing I think I can think of that is like, okay, that's the last little bit where Aptera can, improve their strategy. But their strategy is fantastic right now. From what I can understand of the statements that they put out to the SEC and things like that, their circulars and what have you, they're doing it. They're doing it right, and I cannot wait to see what they achieve and or accomplish by the virtue of a strong strategy and a fantastic product. At any rate, thank you guys so much for watching. That is the end of this video. I am the Ninjaneer. YouTubey things, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Comment below if you guys have thoughts about what I have said about any of the topics that will be posted down below. I will put articles, I will put citations, I will do all the things that I normally do. So yeah, appreciate you guys watching. As always, wonderful set of folks. I am always floored and blown away by all of your awesomeness. So yeah, never change, or rather change for the better, I guess I could say. But you're already awesome. So anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you guys for watching, and catch you next time. It's not. Get in there, you hair.